All right, folks, this is the moment y'all been waiting on. Took a little brief absence to go to the bank and cash out the last 2 weeks. So we're back. I know we let y'all down with the 3-team parlay in week 5, but I guarantee y'all that we got some locks for you. It's NBA action. We're in the MLB playoff series. I mean, it's so many ways to make money right now. Yeah, so
a lot of ways.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into it.
I believe hockey just started up too.
Absolutely, man. So it's a lot of ways to make money. Come and make money with us, with the home team. It's PMoore Parlay, it's DLils, it's Pro Football Forensics, and this is another episode of Sharps and Minnows. Let's get to it right out the gate. I got 3 teams left in the Survivor League. I'm rocking steady right now. There's about under 250 people left with about half a season to go. All the main teams have been used. We're going to have to really start finessing and get very creative here. Who do you like for the Survivor pick this week?
Yeah, so if we're being a sharp and not a minnow, we're looking at teams. I mean, right now on the slate, do we have left right now Cardinals, and do we have left the Patriots? I mean, Belichick coming off a loss at home, back at home. They actually look very, very well against the Buccaneers and the Cowboys, 2 top teams in football. The Jets are pretty much the bottom 2 teams in the entire organization. I'm looking at those 2 teams. So if you have those left, that's got to be one of the slates that you put down. I mean, we're not even talking spreads. We're not talking points. We're talking coming away with the win. Both teams are home. I highly doubt most of our fans have probably both Cardinals and Patriots left. But if you have either or, one of those has to be an entry this week. I mean, the time to use them is now.
So I think that there's a small chance that the majority of the public probably use the Cardinals in week 3 against the Jaguars.
Probably.
That was a pretty easy game.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray, versus Trevor Lawrence in their first National Football League appearance and matchup. I would say that I'm a venture on the side of, if you have the Cardinals to use now, go ahead and use them. But if you use them against the Jaguars, who's going to be that backup pick?
Who's going to be the backup pick? I mean, again, I mentioned the Patriots, but I don't want to only, we've been given multiple, so I don't want to just keep it down to one because we don't know where everyone's Survivor, list is at. The game I'm looking at, I don't really want to mention it yet because it might be in the parlay, but I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. The Falcons look like they're in a good spot, coming off of a bye, going against the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins, get this right. This is a very odd thing that happened. I don't know if you've noticed. Mm-hmm. Normally, when teams go to London, right, they get a bye. Don't the Jaguars have a bye this week?
Yeah, they have a bye.
Yeah, normally when the teams go to London, they have a bye. Miami just went to London and they do not have a bye.
That's correct.
So they traveled to London. Now they're traveling I believe to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? No, they're going back home. But they have to travel back
Miami's
home. They are home, but they don't have a bye. And for the Falcons are coming off of a bye.
Correct, because the Falcons played.
And these are the games that the Falcons win. Let's be honest. London. They still have Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan still has the ability to throw the ball. He's not in an Eli Manning type of career frame where he's just going to throw picks and picks and picks against any team. Yeah, he's going to do trash against the good teams or the fairly good teams, but against the garbage teams, I mean, they're going to get the job done. So if I'm looking at that with a Survivor pick, I mean, when else would you ever use the Falcons? You're not.
You probably wouldn't. And that's a sharp play there, I would say.
That's a very sharp play, but most people don't have the heart to play that. And I mean, those points look good to me too. A field goal game, Matt Ryan. I mean, coming off of a bye, the whole team, you got to have heart for that. So, and the way I've been seeing the trends of this year, a lot of weeks have been going where you got to have heart on those teams that you either think are going to blow out or you think that are going to upset and cover. Because I mean, there's been a lot of games by winning by field goals. There's been a lot of field goal and extra point misses. I mean, there's been nobody thought the game would be that exciting, at least with Patriots Cowboys last week. I mean, we can look at that game and, the over, it smashed the over, if I'm not mistaken. And the Patriots actually, the Cowboys actually had to come back and win that game.
Yeah, it wasn't looking like it was going to be over for a long time.
This is true.
And then it was a lot of points scored right in the last 6 minutes of the game.
This is true. But to me, that means, you got to be willing to, go down or go home. Because again, these games, it ain't the first quarter, it ain't the second quarter, it's all the way to the fat lady sings. And them over-unders are tricky things. But, in terms of, let's get back focused, we're just talking about lock, win, pick'ems. Again, Patriots, I think we're both agreeing there that that's a good solid pick. Are we, hey, this is, are we going to sleep knowing that we're moving on to the next week? No, we don't feel like that.
Not with
Unless
the
we have a
Patriots.
team like the Cardinals. Yeah. No, we don't feel like that.
No,
but
Matt
I feel
Ryan is
confident.
4-0 on the road after the bye in his career.
And Miami's just in a bad spot. Tua doesn't look good. Their team's still dealing with injuries.
Well, Tua's not. I don't think Tua's playing this week, is he? Did he? Didn't I believe he got re-injured in the game? And then again, there's talks of Deshaun Watson coming to town by the end of this week.
It's not going to happen this week, though. He's
you
not
don't think so? You think they'll play him if he's going to be a trade?
Nah,
if he's going to be a part of the trade?
Nah, it's Wednesday. He ain't going to play. Not past Wednesday.
It's hard for me to believe that they would include.
He would have to be.
Tua
He would have to be in the facility at practice tomorrow. That's not about to happen.
Right. Okay. But what I'm saying is, even if Deshaun doesn't play, I'm feeling like Miami would have like a third string quarterback here, like a Jacoby Brissett would probably play.
I don't know why Tua's not playing. He finished the game last week. I watched that game. He finished.
I'm saying that if he really is being considered to be in this trade, typically
that they're not going to play
players out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I've not seen a confirmed
Tua or Jacoby. I don't think that team is built enough to be able to win games. They just lost to the Jaguars. It didn't look good overall, totality wise. The Jaguars had a lot of red zone, trips where they just not fumbled, literally speaking, but figuratively, they fumbled their opportunities.
Yeah. So since 2019, which is since Brian Flores has been the coach of the Miami Dolphins. When the Dolphins are an underdog coming off of a loss and they play a non-division opponent, they're 0-5 straight up. It can't pretty much get any clearer than that.
It can't get any worse for them.
Let's go ahead and lock the Falcons.
Added the fact that they are also going to London back. So not only major time zone difference, but that's a lot of time. You're on an airplane, you're on a flight. They played at 9:30, so they got a little bit of extra rest. What time is their game on Sunday? I think that's at 1:00, right?
No, it is a 1:00. Wow, they snuck them in the 1:00 session.
Yeah, they stuck them. Who made this schedule? I think that almost never happened. Where a team goes to London and doesn't get a bye the next week.
That's brutal.
It looks like they're going to be throwing this, season down the drain. The Lions are still winless, correct? So they're the only other team that is winless.
Yeah, and I would tell folks, if you can grab the Falcons right now at 2.5 before that number jumps.
That is a lock. Go ahead.
Can I say it?
Right, can I say it, DLils? Because that's got to go on the parlay this week. The 2.5. We're giving that today. You better put a ticket in today.
Yeah, because it's not going to stay at 2.5. There's no way they're going to keep that at 2.5. Given the fact that they're coming back, Atlanta's coming off the bye. Given the fact that Miami didn't have a bye coming from London. Given the fact that we don't know if there's trade rumors circulating with Deshaun and Tua, and that's going on in the locker room all week long. It's just way too many things that point in the direction of Atlanta minus 2.5. That is a lock. That is a
and there's value there. We're talking about a field goal. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And I love this much more than a 3.5. It's like, did Christmas come early?
Yeah, on the road, you're giving the hook on the road, a short hook. So let's let that segue right into our 3-team parlay. It's pretty evident here that we want to go with Atlanta minus 2.5 as our first leg of the 3-teamer.
I am affirmative with you on that.
Okay. Now things are going to get a little tricky, right? Because again, we have to navigate around these double-digit spreads. Me personally, I don't like to mess with double digits. As we just, if you guys tune into nitty-gritty talk this week, we basically break down what double digits are and what's good about them, what's bad about them, when you should try to take them, et cetera. And yeah, there's some there's just some troubling games on the slate this week. I mean, if I'm going to take a double-digit spread, if you're going to force me to add a double-digit spread in our parlay, I'm probably going to take the Lions plus 16.5.
Yeah,
They're
to me that has the
winless.
most value. They're winless, but we just saw a winless team win and cover. So and again,
And they
this
play
team
hard, too.
they play hard every game. They've only gotten pretty much
The Rams.
outplayed the entire game. No, I mean,
I
how
mean,
much
the
did they lose
Bengals
by the
last
Rams? The Bengals, yeah, because the Rams game was pretty close. I mean, a lot of those games were nail biters except last week. And I mean,
34-11.
I think it just came down to matchups. So, they couldn't get it going. And, sometimes that's emotional after weighing down, weighing down. However, you got a little bit of spark this week with the revenge game with, again, they're playing their old quarterback.
They don't have an
Jared Goff is
over-under
playing
on this
his
game.
old team.
But if you could take the over, I'd be all over the over. They don't. I know Delaware Sports Lottery does not have an over under for any of the double-digit games except the Packers at the Washington football. I'm sorry, Packers at home against Washington football team. All the rest of the over unders are
You're
off
looking
the
at
board.
which one are you looking at?
If I could take the over for the Rams Lions, if you told me that over is under 50 points, I'm taking the over.
Look at a different sports book. See where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know why they removed it. Most likely because they're anticipating a high scoring game. And they often leave a lot of over unders off those double digit spreads anyway. So, but cool. If I didn't want to go with the Lions, let's say you're scared of that 16.5 points.
I mean, are we forcing into a double digit spread? Because I mean, just like you, this week I'm not convinced. Because honestly, the Cardinals is there, but I don't have the heart to take that many points with the NFL team right now. Not today. Not this week.
So okay.
Personally, I'd like to ask you about the Raiders. They're at home. They just came back and proved a lot of the data wrong. That when you have a coach get fired midweek, mid-season, typically that team loses. Now, I don't really know the data against the spread, but they not only covered, they whipped ass. They came in, got the job done. Swept up the Broncos like a broom in I think their own stadium, right? They traveled to Denver and got the win.
Yeah, I don't have too much data on this Vegas team right now. That's actually the last team I'm doing evaluations on. So I probably would stay away from them. If anything, I'm favoring Philly a little bit on the road, going across country.
Philly on the road? You have faith in that?
Yeah, because again, I think this is a trap
tells
game.
me
I just look at it as a trap game, and I also look at the Raiders have struggled historically in the Derek Carr era with teams that have mobile quarterbacks, right? So the team that
But is Jalen Hurts even mobile?
Jalen Hurts.
I don't even call him mobile right now, man. I mean, they don't have no offense right now. They don't have anything.
He's ranked in the top 3, if not top 5 of Russian quarterbacks. Him, Kyler Murray, Lamar, Josh Allen. He's mobile.
Can we double confirm that stat?
He's mobile. We can confirm it. I'll post. I'll do a fact check after the show. That'll be a good little story for the IG. But yeah, I'm not feeling I ain't feeling too particularly confident in that Raiders Eagles game. I would probably want to switch our focus to well, there's a couple directions we can go in, right? So I think we can go in the direction of the 49ers minus 3.5 at home.
He's number 2. Fact check for him. He's number 2.
Pro Football
yards on the season.
Yeah. So, when I'm looking at that 49ers minus 3.5.
Most rushing TDs as well.
He's mobile. There's no doubt about it. That's why I said I gotta look into that game more. That's the last game on my slate. But
okay, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board as well in that game. I appreciate that data.
I mean, I'm looking at the San Francisco Colts game. And
in terms of side or in terms of over under?
In terms of the side, I like the 49ers minus 3.5. Okay. They're on a losing streak. That's the toughest division that they play in the NFC West. Now, Shanahan isn't great coming off a bye, but it's more about the Colts here, right? Like the Colts just beat a horrible Houston Texans team. They haven't.
They did. Well, would you not say they look good? They look good. They look good.
So you don't like the
And they
3 and
also
a
look
hook
good.
going to San Francisco on Sunday Night Football? Carson Wentz under the lights? Yeah, I'm
Carson
sorry.
Wentz is
Yeah.
looking a little bit better, man. I mean, T.Y.'s out there. It's a different team that we're looking at. The dynamics is different. The defense is looking a little more solid. We don't know what quarterback we're going to get. That again is another factor that I don't really like about that game. I'm hearing that Garoppolo he's kind of questionable, but
That's
we
a
don't
good
know.
point. That's a good point.
So I don't really like that game.
So for the purpose of our viewers, let's leave that alone where we have too many uncertainties. And again, you're gonna have limited amount of choices because you have 4 double-digit spreads on the board. So it's almost like you got to try to navigate around that. If you're gonna ask me personally, I think it's hard to not look at at least Ravens money line, even if you don't want to take them on the points. It's hard for me not to look at that Ravens money line. It's hard.
I agree, but why do you say money line and not the points?
Well, when Baltimore holds an opponent under 10 points, the following game they're 2-8 against the spread. So I feel confident in them getting the win in Baltimore in the bank.
That division game, let's be honest, those are the 2 best teams in that division right
now. Correct.
7.5 to me is too many points. The value is there. I think that's going to move down by game day. So I like the 7.5. Do we have to put in a parlay? No, but I'm just want to, for our viewers, thought process on why money line, because if you had to take the points with the Ravens, you're probably not going to do it in that division game. That to me, honestly, if I'm the bookmaker, I'm putting that game at around 4.5, 5 points. Even though Lamar and them look spectacular and great, the Bengals are trending up.
And I'm teasing that. I'm teasing that.
Got you. So
but all right, for the purpose of the parlay, we don't. Or
are we grabbing? Are we giving the spreads? Are we being punks, or are we?
If we're gonna grab our nuts, then I would take the Bengals plus 7.5.
I like that.
If I'm gonna go there,
I like that. So we got one more for the viewers to solidify our 3-teamer. Where are you thinking, man? I feel like I've been navigating this a little round because we got to stay away from the double digits, which we both.
And I actually like the over 47.5 in the bank too. Baltimore's been giving up a lot of points. They just lost their left tackle. Jamar Chase has been going off. I do feel that could get that could be a 30.
And there's some suspect activity going on in the Ravens secondary. Now, again, me and Brother Lilies, we wholeheartedly, I think the Ravens are going to pull it away. I honestly think they probably could win by a touchdown, but that means our bet still hits. So you're giving me a 7.5. I'm taking that all day. I like the points. I like Joe Burrow and them getting a couple of scores. I like Lamar pulling it out, putting the team on his back, like LeBron would, like LeBron does. We're gonna.
So you're taking Ravens money line.
No, we're taking Bengals. I'm just saying thought process wise, I think they're going to get it done. As in, I'm not, because we got a lot of DMV viewers. So you got to let them know. I don't have hate for the Ravens because we're betting with the Bengals. And I think that's something that we should tell as to the betting public, the common Joe Schmo that might watch our show is you can't bet as a fan. If you like the Ravens, but it's a division game and you guys have, typically, the AFC North division games are going to be tight.
Yeah, they are.
Even though the Steelers are trash, that game between the Steelers and the Ravens is going to be a 3.5. It's been 3.5 or 3 for the last decade, right? Damn near. Unless the team is super.
Let's lock in the Bengals plus 7.5.
Yeah, we're locking that in, and we're also locked in the 2.5 with the Falcons. And then you're mentioning the over right now. Yeah, and you mentioned the over. So,
but we don't have to add that as part of the parlay. I think I think we can take a look at some of these other games here so that we're not putting so much on the table for these Ravens games. If you take a look at this slate, again, I know you mentioned it earlier, it's hard to ignore New England and Belichick's record against rookie quarterbacks. I know the Jets are coming off a bye, but that bye for a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback is not the same type of bye for an experienced coach. It's not. And
it could mess them up because the last game before, they kind of had a nice rhythm of a game where they beat the Titans, correct? Had a couple of touchdowns. I think there were a lot of, gunslingings, close your eyes and just hope for the best touchdowns. But
I agree.
he was throwing the ball. Yep. So that means you watched it. So to me, that means he got lucky. That luck is going to wear off over a bye. Belichick and them are going to own the Jets like they always do. I mean, we're looking at a 23-9 game, I think, to be honest.
23-9.
Yeah, something of that nature. Because now we know the Patriots have the ability to score when they need to. But their game, even when they have Brady, is to control the clock, control the ball, dink and dunk, not throw turnovers, not throw picks. And they got a good defense. I mean, historically, Belichick, he's a defensive coach. They got ate up by CeeDee Lamb on the one-on-one. I don't know whether they were manned in that circumstance, but they also just lost Gilmore, right? So there's an adjustment there. However, there's no receivers of the Cowboys caliber receivers on the Jets team right now. So one-on-one matchups, I'm not too worried.
No, I don't think you should be worried about the one-on-one matchups. It's more about what else does New England have left in the tank this year? In their division, you got Buffalo.
We thought that when they started the year.
Right? Miami's looking bad. Jets are looking bad. Can New England try to sneak in as a wild card in this AFC when you got probably?
It's going to be tough, but
it's going to be very tough.
Do I think they can give the Bills a run for their money? Yes, I do.
In the division? No.
I think the Bills are going to come out, but I don't think the games are going to. I don't think Belichick's going to get blown out. But I think he's proven that he's not going to get blown out by the best teams. Brady went in there and snuck away with 2 points. Similar game with Dak Prescott. There's a trend going on. They fight. New England is Foxborough is still Foxborough. Just like, do I think you're a Cowboys fan. The Washington football team is trash right now. But when it comes down to the Cowboys Redskins game or Cowboys Washington football game, it's any man's day.
Nick Foles is starting against Tom Brady. No Justin Fields.
Because he's hurt?
It doesn't say. Breaking news. Bucks minus 12.5. Tom Brady versus his nemesis. Nick Foles.
Kryptonite part 2. Well, we're
12.5 points. Are we staying away? Do you want to take Nick Foles plus 12.5?
Nah, because they're probably going to get dogs still.
Are they? They beat them last year. Same thing that I said about that Tennessee-Kansas City game. Or no, Tennessee, Tennessee. And
they don't say why Justin Fields isn't playing?
I don't know if he's banged up. I got to read the article, but Matt Nagy, former Blue Hen, announced Nick Foles is the starting quarterback this week. I don't know if he's trying to be funny and just doing it because they're playing against Brady. I really don't get it, but
I don't get it either. Is he trying to sit the rookie again? Because why didn't they just put Andy
Dalton?
It's dumb.
You don't go back, right? You don't go back once you put the rookie in. Yeah, that means he's about to get fired.
I think we already knew that about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but this is what happened last year. They beat Brady in the middle of the season, and then they kept being bad after that. So could I see this as a possible? I see a lot of people losing the Survivor League pick this week off of the Bucks taking it against the Bears. I see a lot of people going down. Mark my words, people. Trap game of the week: Bears plus 12.5 in Tampa Bay. Okay.
No one's gonna have the heart to bet.
That. Yeah, it's not gonna have
that's a tough. No one's gonna have the heart to bet with Nick Foles, but they're gonna talk about it. Like Nick Foles, but everybody's gonna bet on Brady money line.
All right, so I'm thinking. All right, so we got our Atlanta minus 2.5, right? We got our Cincinnati plus 7.5, and I think for the last game, I think we're kind of torn right now between New England, right, minus 7.5 at home against a division opponent, and then potentially. And again, I don't know if we're ignoring the easy one in this Carolina Giants game. That could be staring us smack dead in the face, and we're kind of ignoring it. But again, for this, Panthers. Yeah, we could be ignoring that, right? No Saquon, all 3 starting receivers are out. We might be ignoring an easy one there. But or we can split here. You can tell me your pick, and I can give you mine, like we do each week.
Honestly, I mean,
You know what? I'm gonna have heart. I'm taking the Bears plus 12.5.
I mean,
You got to be different.
you got to be different.
You got to be different, and that's what separates me from the average minnow.
I mean, this is breaking news that just came just now, right?
I mean, like within today, yes.
Yeah. I mean, if Nick Foles is playing, 12 points is too much. And it's not like the Bears got a bunch of injuries. They have a very solid defense. And the Buccaneers secondary is atrocious. So just let Nick Foles get a glimpse of shimmer and they start scoring points. I mean, let's be real. Brady is the GOAT, but there's a psychological factor there, especially with Nick Foles.
Yeah, and the Bears, like I said,
Be.
they got the best of them last year. I know Brady's going to be trying to put his best foot forward, but guess what? Hey, it's end of October, and I think that's a perfect opportunity for a trap game. I'm gonna take that 12.5 point. It's just too much. I could see Brady and them winning 31. I could see the score being 31 to like 10 going into the fourth quarter. And then we get what do we get? We get a late trap. We get a touchdown and a field goal.
Right. Because again, their secondary is relatively weak and they're going to be playing soft with the lead. You're absolutely right.
I got 31-21 Bucks. So that's the Bears and that's the over 46. You guys can lock that here. You heard it here first. That's an exclusive 2-game lock. PMoore, what's your final lock before we get to these prop bets?
If I'm locking the third game, I mean, I'm gonna be looking at that under. Oh no. This is completely false because the Packers are not home, are home. So I apologize. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and take because we locked in the Falcons, right? And we locked in the Bengals. I'm gonna go ahead and lock in the Patriots.
New England minus 7.5. That's a lot. Yeah, all right, cool, man. We got Atlanta minus 2.5, Cincinnati plus 7.5, and then we got PMoore Parlay with the New England minus 7.5 at home. I'm taking a wild card, Chicago plus 12.5. Deuces wild in Tampa Bay against the GOAT. If you can parlay all four for $100 and win $1,100, good for you. If you want to just go with 3, feel free to mix and match with me and PMoore Parlay. Let's talk prop bets, man, and wrap it up. We got prop bets, we got college, we got some good games on the slate for college football this weekend. Give me one of your college football locks.
All right, so first locks on the day, and let me just make sure I got the most updated information. We're looking at Friday night football. Last Friday night football pick I gave out on my IG didn't come to fruition. We're not going to go back there. We got a lock with SMU. SMU is playing Tulane, University of Tulane. I don't want to get into how bad that team is, but SMU is a top 25 team. They came away with some good, solid wins over some teams that can score a lot of points. So,
Tulane is
I don't really have what's decent to you.
I mean, they've hung in. If you look at their schedule, they've hung in there with some teams. But I'm okay with the minus 14. I mean, SMU is a top 25 team. I'm not down that, but I think Tulane has held their own against some good competition this year. But again, hey,
Tulane is 1-5, sir. Tulane got dogged by East Carolina. Tulane got dogged by Houston. Tulane lost to UAB. Tulane got dogged by Mississippi. They beat Morgan State, and when Oklahoma, I think there was a switch at quarterback at Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, when the boy from Gonzaga went in.
So they were playing with a bum quarterback was it?
No, they were playing with Spencer Rattler, who
lost his spot, right?
He was a top 3.
I mean, you lose your spot, you are no
Mr.
longer
California
that guy
or whatever he is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's not that anymore.
Right. And if you look at the ESPN mock drafts, they got Spencer Rattler up there.
I mean, he ain't gonna be up as high.
Who knows now, right? Who knows now? He got benched in the middle of the season for somebody from the DMV. Right.
Yeah, he's gonna have to transfer or something because that Oklahoma team that I was playing earlier in the year is not the Oklahoma team that's number 3 right now. Let's be real. And they still beat Tulane, but the game was just a lot closer. Every other game, they're getting destroyed. I mean, they lost to UAB. You lose to UAB, and I got a team like SMU. That's all day for me. I probably would have took it at 17 points, to be honest. So if I'm getting a 2-touchdown game, I mean, really two more than 2 because I'm thinking I'm at 14.5.
You got to get that 15. You need that 2-point conversion.
but I'm not too, it's a 3-score game. We're looking at, they're going to put at least 40, 45 on them. Tulane probably around 23 is what I'm looking at. 45-23 game. Friday night football. SMU plays a lot better on those Friday, Thursday nights. I mean, they got TCU out the way. They got a lot of good teams out the way. I'm loving that game. I mean, that's personally what I'm loving. On a Friday night, SMU, I mean, they're 22 in the nation right now. We're looking good. We're looking good. And then, I mean, I'm going to go right into it. And then I got the plus money with San Diego State. I'm loving San Diego State. I mean, they're almost undefeated against the spread. They're playing Air Force. Air Force is a good team. Air Force is home. But I'm catching a 3 and a hook with San Diego State, top 25 team that I have seen covered time and time again over weaker opponents, over good opponents. They've covered large spreads. They covered a 19 and cashed out for me a couple of times. They've covered over 20, 23 and a half spreads. They're catching points, undefeated. I'm taking that all day. I don't think Air Force has what it takes to keep up with them in terms of offensively. Again, it is a home game for Air Force, but I just don't think that Air Force has enough. So I'm liking those two. You get 2-team parlay those exclusive.
I'm cool with that. Okay. All right. So San Diego State plus 3.5, and you're taking SMU by 15 points. Cool. So let's pivot real quick, and we're gonna talk NFL prop bets. This week I told you guys there's a lot of interesting games out here. One thing that I do see that really jumps off the board to me here is the simple fact that Indianapolis, okay, the Colts are 32nd against team's ex wide receiver. And you know who's 31st? The Washington football team. I know we got a lot of DMV Washington football heads in here. I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers, when you want to talk wide receiver number 2, it's going to be a lot of attention on Devontae Adams. And I think that's just going to open things up for Lazard. And I'm taking Lazard over 60 yards receiving this week. Alan Lazard over 60 yards.
That's great analysis right there. Because, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. The only way they have a chance if they're going to slow down Devontae. So Aaron Rodgers knows that.
He knows that. And Devontae's still going to get his. He's still going to get 8 catches for
especially in the
92 yards and a touchdown.
Especially in the red zone. I mean, that's his guy. They'll go down 3 times in a row.
I'm going to go Alan Lazard, 60-plus receiving yards. And I'm going to give you another sneak peek here. Again, I know we talked about this game. This is a big game on our slate. Double-digit spread, Detroit and the Rams. Stafford versus Goff. It's going to be a lot of hatred, a lot of revenge. Both teams' defenses practice against the other team's starting quarterback. They know him by the back of their hand. Cool. One thing that we do know is that Detroit is dead last against running backs in the passing game. I'm taking Darrell Henderson at least one anytime touchdown during the whole game, either through the passing or on the ground.
Sounds like a FanDuel parlay bet, right? That anytime bet.
I'm telling you right now, if you can get Henderson anytime touchdown bet, and you want to parlay that, with the Lazard 60-plus yards receiving, I've been on prop bet fire. I hit first opening night, NBA last night with a LeBron prop bet mixed in there with a who did I have? I had LeBron 2 threes over 24 points.
That's easy.
Yeah, Draymond Green 7 rebounds and Jordan Poole 20 points. That was a little 350.
Jordan Poole was a sharp bet right there.
Yeah, because he got 20 exactly.
Know about him. Yeah.
So that got me 350 here. I got some stuff action tonight. So I'm on my prop bet zone right now. It's that time of year. 'Tis the season. You got anything else for the viewers, man? We're gonna wrap this up.
Nah, man. I mean, if I, want to give some two other little gimmies out there from looking back at the college slate, ladies and gentlemen, I like NC State over Miami. I definitely like that a whole lot. And I'm tempted to over Army. I believe Army's quarterback got hurt. The starter got hurt about 2 weeks ago. They just took a loss to Did they lose to Ball State? I think. Let me just double check that. Yep, they did. They just lost to Ball State 28-16. So they're going to be trending down. They have a backup quarterback in there, young, small, little, rascally scat back looking guy. Wake Forest. I think they're gonna, they're a pretty top team in the ACC. They have been nationally ranked. I'm not sure if they are today. Yeah, they're still 16. Yeah, 16 in the nation. 3.5 points against Army. I think they get the job done pretty easily there. So if you don't like my SMU, San Diego, the next two teams in line was NC State and Wake Forest. Both those games are 3.5 points. Take your pick. But again, I'm liking the more riskier SMU and catching 3 points with undefeated San Diego State. Let's get it.
And that's a lot of parlays we gave y'all. That's pretty much a 19 parlay that we gave you guys. You put $10 on that and you're winning 3 bands. You heard it here first. DLils, PMoore Parlay.
I'll action.
A lot of action this weekend. Stay tuned. I'll be on the live this weekend to, discuss the outcomes. Pro Football Forensics, Sharps and Minnows. Let's go.